This is the story of Hansel and Gretel. Once upon a time, in a small village near the edge of a dense forest, there lived a poor woodcutter with his 2 children, Hansel and Gretel. Their mother had passed away, and their stepmother was unkind and harsh. Times were hard, and the family often struggled to find enough food to eat. One evening, as the children lay in bed, they overheard their stepmother talking to their father.
"Honey, we don't have enough food to feed the children. We must take them into the forest and leave them there."
The woodcutter was deeply saddened, but his wife convinced him that there was no other way. Hansel, hearing their plan, whispered to Gretel,
"Don't worry, Gretel. I'll find a way to save us."
The next morning, the stepmother led the children deep into the forest. As they walked, Hansel dropped small white pebbles along the path to mark the way back home. When they reached a clearing, the stepmother told them to rest while she and the father collected firewood.
"Hansel, Gretel, just stay here until we come back."
But hours passed, and neither parent returned. As night fell, Gretel grew scared, but Hansel reassured her.
"Don't worry, Gretel. I left a trail of pebbles to guide us home."
Under the light of the moon, they followed the shining pebbles all the way back to their cottage. Their father was overjoyed to see them, but their stepmother was furious.
"How did them manage to return? Tomorrow, I'll have to take them even deeper into the forest."
The next day, she decided to take them even deeper into the forest. This time, Hansel tried to collect more pebbles, but the stepmother locked the door to prevent him from going outside. The following morning, they were led back into the woods. Hansel, unable to gather pebbles, used crumbs of bread to mark the path instead. When they reached a clearing deep in the forest, the stepmother told them to stay there until she returned. But Hansel and Gretel no longer trusted her words. After she left, they decided to head back home. However, when the children tried to follow the trail home, they found that the birds had eaten all the crumbs. Lost and frightened, Hansel and Gretel wandered deeper into the forest. After walking for hours, they stumbled upon a strange little house made entirely of candy and sweets.
Wow, Hansel, look at all that candy.
Starving and exhausted, they began to eat pieces of the house.
"Gretel, this tastes so good."
Just then, an old woman appeared at the door, smiling sweetly.
Come on in, kid. I've got even more delicious food for you.
Little did they know, the old woman was really a wicked witch who tricked children into coming to her house so she could eat them. As soon as they walked in, she trapped Hansel in a cage and made Gretel cook and clean for her.
You have to cook for me if you want to save your brother.
Every day the witch checked on Hansel, waiting for him to grow fat so she could eat him. But clever Hansel ate only a little of the food he was given, and secretly hid the rest, while Gretel quietly threw it away without the witch knowing. Frustrated by how long it was taking, the witch decided to eat him anyway.
"Why isn't he getting fatter? I need to eat him soon."
She ordered Gretel to light the fireplace and prepare it for cooking. But Gretel, realizing what the witch intended, came up with a plan.
I don't know how to light the fireplace. Can you show me how?
The witch, eager to eat Hansel, walked over to the fireplace and bent down to make the fire.
Watch closely. I'll show you how it's done.
Just as the witch leaned in, Gretel acted fast. She gave the witch a big push, and the witch tumbled into the fireplace. Gretel quickly slammed the door shut. The witch screamed, pounding on the door, but it was too late.
Gretel, let me out. No.
The witch transformed back into her monstrous form and instantly burst apart. Gretel rushed to Hansel's cage.
Hansel, we are free. We can go home now.
Hansel, still a bit confused.
What happened, Gretel?
Gretel smiled and told Hansel everything that had happened. Hansel stepped out of the cage, rubbing his eyes, and said,
You saved my life, Gretel. I knew you would. I'm so proud of you.
They hugged, happy to be together again. Then they looked around the witch's house and saw shiny gold and sparkly jewels everywhere.
Wow! Look at all this treasure.
We can take it home to help Daddy.
They filled their pockets with as much treasure as they could carry, then left the witch's house, following the path out of the dark forest. As soon as they stepped outside, the witch's house began to melt, collapsing into a heap of ashes, disappearing forever behind them. After walking for days, they finally saw their house in the distance.
Home! We finally made it, Hansel!
Gretel shouted, and they both ran as fast as they could. Their father came running out to meet them, his face filled with joy and relief.
Hansel, Gretel, you're safe. I was so worried about you.
He hugged them tightly, overjoyed to have his children back. Inside the house, Hansel and Gretel told their father everything about the wicked witch and the treasure they found.
We'll never be hungry again, Dad.
It's true, Dad!
Their father, filled with happiness, said,
You don't need to worry about your stepmother anymore. She left us because of greed and never came back.
Yippee!
Hansel and Gretel were relieved and happy to hear that. A few days later, Hansel and Gretel used some of the treasure to buy a cozy new home. They were kind-hearted and shared their food with those in need. From that day on, they always had plenty to eat and no longer feared the dark forest. With the treasure, Hansel, Gretel, and their father lived happily ever after. Hi everyone. How did you enjoy today's video? What can we learn from Hansel and Gretel's journey through all those challenges?
First, be brave and smart. Hansel and Gretel didn't give up when they were scared. They used their wits to find a way home and outsmart the witch.
Second, never give up. Even when things were tough, like being lost in the forest, Hansel and Gretel kept going. They didn't quit.
Third, work together. Hansel and Gretel helped each other. By working as a team, they made it through the hard times.
So, when you face challenges, remember to be brave and wise, like Hansel and Gretel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.